On a summer day in Florida when I was a kid, I was playing Truth or Dare with two friends. Tansy was cautious. I was adventurous. So I dared our neighbor Bo. When the next car comes around that corner, you have to jump in the ditch. The car came, and Bo leapt into 5 feet of stagnant water. He came out covered in green slime, and he stunk. And then we went home. My mom grew up in Trinidad, surrounded by mango trees and the cool ocean breeze. So she wanted us to play outside constantly. Sometimes we would bang on the kitchen window and complain about being bored or thirsty. And she would crack open the window and shout, "Drink from the hose!" which, during the Florida summer, releases a nice metallic tasting water at the refreshing temperature of 250 degrees. I'm a clinical psychologist and faculty member at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine, and I study children and teens' decision-making, especially on social media, where teens spend an astounding 35 hours a week. I didn't grow up with social media, but I did feel the intoxicating allure of technology when I was a kid. My dad was a computer engineer at the Kennedy Space Center, and he brought home Game Boys, Nintendo 64, a DVD player, and one of those giant blue iMac computers. My mom and dad were a beautiful manifestation of the balance between technology and nature. Learning about balance is part of childhood. Even games like Truth or Dare help kids experiment with the balance between different risks and rewards. Truth or Dare has been played for centuries. One version was called Questions and Commands. In 1819, a children's book described the game's innocence. Kids had to recite lines from a poem without making a mistake. Those who made a mistake had to do a dare designed to provoke enjoyment for all, singing a song or hopping around. My research lab studies the social media features that provoke enjoyment for today's teens. Our studies found that teens are captivated by social media posts that feature a ton of likes, or celebrities, or people who look like them. So, what happens when these features amplify a dare on social media? In January 2018, a dare called the Tide Pod Challenge was going viral. People filmed themselves as they bit into a laundry pod and posted it on social media. That month, poison control centers had a spike in calls about people getting sick from this. Tide actually released an ad that featured a famous NFL player saying, "Don't eat laundry pods." In 2021, the more alarming Blackout Challenge involved people choking themselves until they lost consciousness. At least 15 children, ages 12 or younger, died in 18 months, including 9-year-old Ariane Arroyo, who accidentally hanged herself in front of her 5-year-old brother. And there are others. Jacob Stevens, a 13-year-old boy from Ohio, was on a ventilator for nearly a week before he died from ingesting a lethal amount of Benadryl for a dare called the Benadryl Challenge. Social media has warped the ecosystem of a dare that has existed for centuries. When we played, the rules were clearer. Jump in the ditch. On social media, they're less clear. How much Benadryl do I take? How long do I cut off my air supply? Bo, Tansy, and I knew each other, so we wouldn't suggest anything too risky. On social media, the risky content gets amplified by algorithms to millions of people the user will never have to meet. We also played together in person, which was helpful if something went wrong. When Bo went home covered in slime, his parents knew he had been up to something. With some viral challenges, deceased children are found alone on the floor of their bedroom. Children have always done risky things. And even before social media, some kids died from a dare. But the goal was mostly to have fun. Today, social media incentivizes the goal of simply going viral, and the result is riskier videos and more harm to kids. So, what about harms from the truth side of truth or dare on social media? When we played, picking truth meant Bo and Tansy got to ask me an embarrassing question like, "Who do you have a crush on?" Picking truth helps kids experiment with two questions. Who can I trust, and how much information is safe to share? Bo and Tansy earned my trust, so it felt relatively safe to whisper the name of my crush. On social media, adults now have unprecedented access to children. Children and teens have to sort through direct messages from people they don't know, and they have to figure out how much is safe to share with friends and strangers every day. A dad recently told me how his teenage son was coaxed into sending nude photos to an adult who was pretending to be a classmate on Snapchat and then threatened the teen for money. Financial sextortion is rising and heavily targets teenage boys, some of whom take their own lives while they're being threatened. Last year, this article by the New York Times caught my attention. There is a marketplace on Instagram where parents, mostly mothers, post photos of their underage daughters, ages 5 to teenagers. Some parents post about their daughters' modeling or dance activities, or hope to secure brand sponsorships to save for college. Many of the popular child influencer accounts have an audience that's more than 75% male. Some parents privately sell behind-the-scenes photos of their child, or sell their child's leotards to followers after the child has worn them. The Times identified followers who are registered sex offenders. Instagram's policies are supposed to ban sex offenders. One mom told the New York Times that she blocks inappropriate followers, but Instagram limits the number of people she can block per day. Many of these children don't get to answer the questions, who can I trust, and how much is safe to share? As a society, we tell parents to talk to their kids about the risks of viral challenges and sending nude photos, and the dangers of pedophiles. But social media is a multi-billion-dollar machine. Is it realistic to expect kids to outsmart that machine? And so, what can we do to fix this warped version of truth or dare? We have to begin by understanding what is powering social media. There's one source of money that generates the vast majority of revenue for major social media companies. It's advertising revenue. Advertisers may not realize it, but they are complicit in this game of truth or dare because they have introduced money into the game. During one of my studies on child influencers, I was shocked to learn that the highest paid YouTube star was a 9-year-old who made $30 million that year. A lot of that money comes from those embedded ads that play during the video. The parent and the platform get a portion of that revenue. To the companies advertising on social media, can we pick truth right now? I want to ask you a question. Is it possible that advertisers are the most powerful player in deciding what happens next in the game of truth or dare on social media? I think the answer is yes. Social media companies depend on advertisers, so advertisers may be our best chance at getting social media companies to change. We may never get back to playing questions and commands, and maybe we don't want to. But simply sending kids outside to hop around and sing songs or drink from the hose isn't going to fix the issues that are waiting for them when they come back into the house to pick up their phone. But if advertisers can persuade social media companies to redesign their platforms, it will give kids a safer balance of risk and reward, so that when children ask themselves, who can I trust and how much information is safe to share, they have a better chance at getting it right. Thank you.